Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Movie and a Hunt. I'm RJ.
I'm Paige.
And I'm super serious today because I'm done being tasteless. I say for probably like 10 minutes. Let's be honest here. Today we're talking about Trick or Treat, an anthology movie.
Yeah.
Underneath. I love this movie. I don't think you've seen it.
Never seen it. I heard good things about it. I just never got around to watching it. Why? I don't know. Just never put on my radar.
Now, I want to say something. I'm disappointed in you.
Why?
A couple of years back, I bought you a Trick or Treat shirt, and I was so sure you were going to wear it today.
I was going to, but it's
did.
in the wash. So
I will admit, it's a comfy shirt.
I use it as kind of like an undershirt at work. So I use it basically
Understandable.
every week.
It's very light. It's
Yes.
a very light shirt.
Yeah, that's why. It's great.
It's very soft, too. Either way. What did you think of the I love the trailer, by the way. I'll just note it now.
Yeah.
I love the trailer.
Yeah, trailer's great. It shows the beginning. It's kind of like it's an old film of educational how kids should go
PSA
about
warning, baby.
how kids should go about trick-or-treating, and then we go into it. You don't really know what's going on. Just seems like a lot of chaos and creepiness for the trailer.
And the best thing about this movie is one of my biggest issue with the anthology movies is, you know, at the beginning of the movie, we always get introduced to like a group of characters. And you kind of know that these group of characters are not in danger until the final story, because then the final story is the twist like, oh, it involves them. Woo! This entire one, it's about everything just takes place in this town, and the characters, the central characters, are all in the stories.
Okay.
So it's nice to not be like, and here's another story. And now here's an interlude of the main characters talking about the context of the story that was just talked about.
So everything is interconnected.
Yes.
Cool.
And the best part is, like, it's like how in other movies go, you know, it's kind of like, oh, they get interconnected at the end. When they start to interconnect them, it's like, oh, that's a good twist, but it also makes sense.
Right.
That's kind of how I feel. Here's the thing, like that, the trailer's good. I can't really say much because then I'm going to be revealing stuff, because this does have a good number. I think this movie has like maybe 3 or 4 twists.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, if it's 3 or 4 main stories, every story needs a twist.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like other twists that bring the stories together, and then that story has a twist.
So just a whole game of Twister going on, I guess.
Yep.
Cool. All right. I mean, yeah, we can't really talk about the trailer much or go in depth, so I guess we'll just go in and watch now?
Let's go watch Anna Paquin.
Yes, absolutely. All right, we'll be back.
By the way, quick side question.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay. So if anyone who doesn't know this, like, and you're young, Anna Paquin was hated very much in the 2000s. Like, she was despised by people, like just normal fans, mainly because of how she was played Rogue in the X-Men. She was just not... I think she got so much fucking flack for how she played Rogue.
Yeah. I remember that, and I don't understand why.
I mean, it wasn't... I think it's because, like, the 90s cartoon Rogue, she's like the Southern Belle.
Gotcha.
And she's all like, ooh. And here's the thing. I have a Rogue ring on right now. I love Rogue. But also, that's more of the directors telling her, hey, you're kind of going to be, like, an angsty teenager.
Right. It's not all on her. It's directors, writers, everybody involved. It's not just her decision to how she's going to take a character. But I'm not surprised people still do it today with certain characters, especially comic book characters.
Yeah, and the funniest thing was when Days of Futures Past came out, everyone was really upset she got cut out of it because she had a scene, and everyone got really upset she got cut.
Make up your mind, people.
But here's my question. I feel like you would know this more than me. This is definitely after X-Men. But is this before True Blood?
I believe so. I don't want to say yes for sure, but I'm pretty sure. You want me to look it up real quick?
My phone went off. Whoop, whoop. Sure.
Okay.
Because I feel like, while yes, her character wasn't loved towards the end of True Blood, it seemed like her career got a resurgence once True Blood came out.
It's right before True Blood. So True Blood started in '08. So she probably did X-Men, did this, and then did True Blood. That's probably what happened. But you're right. I remember her career getting a little bit of a resurgence with True Blood. I never watched
I think
it.
she got nominations for
Yes, she did.
Best Actress. I was as a kid, I was like, but everyone hates her. Why is she getting like nominations? And then I forgot. Oh, I didn't know at that age like you can be a good actress and just get a shitty hand.
100%.
But now, our Anna Paquin fan time is over.
All right. Yes, we promise, at least for this section. Let's go watch the movie that she's in. Bye.
We watched the movie, and when I say we, I mean Paige, because I got a work call.
So, yes, I watched a movie by myself, basically.
I was there.
Physically, kind of.
Hey, I heard stuff.
You did. You heard things that are sounds.
That came from the movie. So it's kind of like I watched it. All right. Let's start with a cold open.
Yeah. I mean, every horror movie. Well,
let's start at the end.
Yes. The beginning is the end. So obviously there's a lot of Halloween and Michael feels here with this first part.
A lot of grunting though.
Yeah.
And just like
Yeah. Yeah, do you want to describe what happened?
Sure. Emma, yeah, that's right, her name is Emma. And her husband or boyfriend
Or whatever
they are, come back from the city. You later learn they were just in the city partying.
Yeah, they have a parade down in the city, and then I'm guessing, obviously, they came home afterwards.
And she was like, I may not remember a lot of this movie. I do remember, I'm lit, you're lit.
This jack-o'-lantern can't be lit no more.
You lit. Oh my God, 2007, we're using the word lit already. Either way, she's like, I fucking hate Halloween. And I'm like, drop dead.
Yeah, she's just a big grumpy pants.
Who loves to get into some BDSM and probably had a gimp suit. Either way, the husband's like, let's fuck on Halloween. And I'm like, yeah, sure, that does sound like a good idea. Now, the way you want to do it, questionable. But the idea of it, we can work with that. And she's like, go upstairs and put the porn tape on, I guess.
He's like, oh.
I'm gonna get rid of the ghost scarecrows.
Yeah, also, who takes down the Halloween decorations on Halloween? I don't...
What do you call the Grinch for Halloween? Emma?
Yeah, it's just Emma.
It's Emma.
Oh, stop being such an Emma.
Emma. She starts taking shit down, and our Michael Myers child, because he's agile.
Oh, yes.
He's springy. He's watching, and he's like, bitch, it's Halloween.
Bitch.
Still.
You blew out the jack-o'-lantern, and you're not supposed to do that. Okay.
Well, they mentioned that at the beginning. Like, the rule is don't take Halloween decorations down on Halloween.
Basically,
like,
yeah.
It's like a curse.
There's rules that you have to follow for Halloween because it's about keeping you safe from the dead, because that veil between the living and the dead is very, very thin on this day.
And now you know why all churches hate Halloween.
It's not like it started as like a Celtic tradition or anything. So, hate the pagans, of course.
So she starts taking shit down, and she's like, I hear a sound, I look, back to taking down the sheets. And then eventually, one of the sheets attacks her.
Yes, very viciously.
And some kids see some shit that
Yeah, those poor 3 kids. They see some shit later on too, and oof.
They see too much
Yeah,
shit. Let's
too
be honest
much.
here. And she's screaming, and then we get. Here's the thing: anytime we get a topless woman, like at before 30 minutes into the movie, it throws me off. I'm
Same,
gonna say it.
same.
It's like this isn't like Thanksgiving where it's the first shot and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're like 5 minutes in, but still, it just cuts and I'm like, huh? Oh, the videotape.
Also,
Okay.
it's Thanksgiving. You have a certain expectation. This is a Legendary Pictures Warner Brothers movie, and we're getting tits in the first 2 minutes.
It's well regarded. And he has like part of a gimp suit.
It's
I
strange.
guess. Either way, he's like lays back in bed with it because he's like, "Do I hear screaming? No, it's just a weird movie I'm watching
And
right
he's
now, alone, which is
and
weirder."
he's not even watching it. He falls asleep to it, like it's a lullaby. Yeah, I know.
Either way, eventually he comes out, and we get a great scene of him pulling the sheet down from one of the scarecrows, and it's just her with a lollipop.
Yeah, and her mouth is kind of disformed, like it's very like elongated. Her arm and leg were hanging from the tree, right? Because it was fresh with blood.
I thought it was her arms, and then her legs were still there.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, that's how it was, right? I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool cold open. You know, it's classic horror movie open. Nothing really weird about it. You're expecting something like this.
Do we get? Okay, no. Okay, so yeah. I was like, wait, we don't go straight to the principal because we go to the city first. I thought.
I don't remember.
With Anna Paquin.
Yeah, where they're doing the costume, I think.
Yeah, and Anna Paquin's like, my tits are gonna pop out of this. I don't like this. We should do something less revealing. And then you see her at the end of the movie, and I'm like, she may have been onto something because without the cape, that is a really revealing top dress.
It is. Everyone else's too. Like Cinderella's were like front and center.
They were like, listen, we know they're gonna view us as objects, so let's use these to eat them.
Exactly.
And guess what happens? Well, I think everybody uses it except Anna Paquin's character because she's just like, I'm going to get attacked by a dude who thinks he's a vampire. And then I'm going to throw him here, I guess. I like how you were like, oh my God, are they vampires?
Well,
are they witches? And in my head, I'm like, oh, it's even better.
Because, okay, well, go ahead. We'll get to there.
Okay. Either way, she's like, guys. And then, like, you have a mother being like, there are kids in this store. Stop talking about your titties and about what you would assume is them fucking dudes.
But
in reality, they want to eat them.
The stupid kid was looking in on these women, so, you know, watch a kid, too.
Yep. But it's not my kid's fault. It's my kid. It's not their fault.
It's not, of course.
It's yours. Why did you not cover the peephole if you didn't want to be watched? Huh, Missy? Either way, they leave and they're like, she's like, it's your first time. And I do like the whole thing of it. They're really alluding to it just being
100%.
Sex.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was. I wasn't thinking anything else.
And then we leave for the time being. Every now, I think theirs is the one story that you kind of keep coming back to.
Who, Anna Paquin's? Yes.
Yeah, they're kind of like the interludes between the stories.
Yes. And every character meets each other at some point.
Some point.
Whether they're walking in the background or they bump into each other or you spot them, something like that.
And then Sam's like, I'm here for it all.
Yeah.
I'm going to be front and center when this all goes to shit. Either way, the first story. Now, I know this one's the first story. This is the principal.
Yes.
We start and we get our trick-or-treaters, and oof, those poor kids do not know what they're about to go through for the rest of this night. Oh, and we also got little shit, also known as fat kid stereotype.
Yeah, huge fat kid stereotype. He has a shirt that says, "This is my costume." So he's an Emma. He's going around taking all the candy from the houses. He has chocolate on his face. I don't like this, man. This is another movie. We saw another movie recently, right, where they had another fat kid stereotype. Don't ask me which one it is.
I can't remember which one it is.
I remember talking about it before. I don't like that stuff. And he's busting up the jack-o'-lantern, so he's fucked.
Listen, the principal didn't get to him, Sam.
Exactly.
Because Sam was like, "That's my head." Thank
Exactly.
you.
Those are my brethren.
That's my pumpkin head.
Look at you.
Except my movie's better. Either way, the principal's like, "Put the candy away," and he's like, "I know what you were doing. So come and sit and let me tell you a story while you eat poison." Yeah. And I remember this very vividly because I was looking at my other screen as this was going on, and I didn't need to. You know what? I'll be honest. I didn't need to see it. I would rather choose to not see it. I wish I never heard it.
Not even that. Like, can we rewind just a tad? And the chewing noises from him eating the candy were triggering me.
For a second, when I was looking away, I thought he was eating an apple because it just sounded very apple-esque.
It could have been the Foley. They could have had someone eating the apple. It's so true.
Either way, I mean, like, if that was the only sounds, because you know me, I hate chewing sounds, I probably would have been grossed out. But the vomiting that's about to commence.
The projectile vomit.
And the bubbling.
Oh, God, stop.
Oh, you hear it.
And you know what's horrible?
You hear all of it.
You know what's horrible? I ate right before that.
I know. I know.
You didn't warn me. You were like, yeah, she'll be fine.
I forgot. I thought it was a razor blade, and he just eats the razor blade by mistake, and it kills him.
I would have been fine with that.
I forgot it was poison.
Well, right before the projectile chocolate vomit, this principal is talking about how Halloween is, you're protecting yourself from the spirits, as I said before, with the costumes, the lanterns, all that good stuff. And as the kid's just gnawing down on this chocolate bar he got from his vice principal, he just projectile vomits everywhere.
And the grossest thing, I remember, because I looked at the screen at this moment, and I was like, yeah, I'm not watching this. I'm going to go back to this screen and just continue doing some UI stuff. I looked over, and it's just a chocolate river flowing downstairs.
I hate this. All right. Let's not describe it for people, please. Just long story short, it's disgusting. It doesn't stop. The principal brings him inside the house, and while he's like holding
and then he gurgles on him.
Yeah, he's gurgling and just continues to like blah 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 all over the principal. It's horrible.
And the principal's like, "Oh God!" And then the kids knock on the door. Our trick or treaters. And they're like, "We see you. Give us candy." And he comes out and he's like, "Hi."
They scream because they see all the blood on him. And then they're like, "Oh, haha, good costume, Mr. Wilkins," or whatever his name is.
Is Wilkins. Stephen Wilkins. Yes. I remember that because that's what he tells his name before Anna Paquin eats him. Either way, he's like, oh, and then he has a little shit of his own.
Yeah, we find that out after this.
Yeah, so he goes to the backyard with our dead, well, what we think is dead now. It turns out he's not dead. Digs a hole, throws the kid in the hole, gets in the hole because he hears his neighbor, who is the final story.
Yes.
Even though the neighbor dies with like 5 minutes after this in timeline, it's just he gets the final story.
No, he doesn't die.
Oh right, he does die.
Yeah, not at that moment.
He gets spared. Yeah. Sam's like, I know what's about to happen in like 2 hours.
You're not on my list.
Anything I would do would be a
Walk in a park.
mercy.
Yeah.
It'd be mercy for what's going to happen later. I will say, though, I do kind of wish that they maybe... I have to see if maybe they ever released a comic book.
I feel like they did.
Because this movie, like, when you use comic book styles, most of the time it's just like a post-process effect on top of like the screen. They actually took time to give it a genuine comic book art style that was centered towards, the movie. And I just think it would be a major disgrace if they never did a comic book in that style.
I'm pretty sure they did. I would put some money on that and say yeah.
I wouldn't put money on it because I would have to say no, and I do not feel confident in that. Either way, the body goes in. There's a dog, which gives me later in the movie, it gives you that... You've seen How the Grinch Steals Christmas, right? Where at the beginning of the movie, they climb up the mountain, and he sends Max out with the giant dog head, and he scares all the children away down the mountain. I was like, this is exactly what I'm getting from this exact moment. Goes back inside, and you're like, little shit is like, can we carve it? And you're like, pumpkin. No, little shit's a psycho as well.
Oh yeah, so the stupid little shit is yelling outside the window, and he's like, oh, I need you to help me with the eyes. Oh, let's do some more carving, blah blah blah. And yeah, like you said, you think it's a pumpkin. Turns out, do we put the twist in? Do we tell them the twist?
Yeah, because this is how the story ends.
So the father goes back inside. He brings the little boy downstairs. You think he's going to stab the kid and kill the kid, but not so fast. It's the projectile vomit kid. His head is on the table, and they're going to have a father-son carving time with that.
And then that ends our principal story.
It's a good twist. I like that one.
It is. Now, oh God, I don't know where the vampire comes in.
Before Anna Paquin, after the kids, I think.
Okay, so this next one is going to be says Halloween School Bus Massacre is the next story.
I think so. Yeah, because the kids, the trick-or-treaters are going around to each house and asking for jack-o'-lanterns for their little mission.
Yep. And then I guess one of them's like, one of these girl, like that girl that has like a bunch of pumpkins, like has a thing for you. So like, can you kind of hit on her so that we can get her pumpkins?
Yeah.
It's a weird MO. I'm gonna say right
they
now.
also use the R word to refer to someone with a mental disability throughout the entire movie, so that kind of sucked. They imply that she is on the spectrum of some sort, and so that's why she carves pumpkins. I don't know. I didn't get the correlation.
Oh, isn't this where they call her like a something savant?
Idiot savant. Yeah. I'm like, okay. All right.
Either way, they go to the... Which, okay, listen here. I know kids are stupid. I get it. We were all kids. We were all stupid. Hell, I'm still stupid. But when there's like a free fall kind of elevator and you're like, let's go down that into like the swampy fucking forest. No.
It's an abandoned rock quarry. You think this thing is safe? No. Fat chance.
That's where serial killers live.
Yes.
That's where they live.
I mean, surprisingly, the elevator was the safest part of this entire journey.
God, that says something about this entire journey we're about to go on.
Yeah, so they take all these jack-o'-lanterns to the rock quarry, and I think her name is Macy?
Sarah? Oh, Macy, yeah.
She explains what happened at this rock quarry. Do you have a good description there?
They were kids. They were... okay, let's go through this quickly. They were troubled children. I'm like, they kind of just all seemed like they had autism.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. Some sort of learning disability, mental disability, something like that.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up is the inciting incident that causes the bus driver to do this. I'm like, okay, as a person who had to do special reading classes when he was in school, I had to go to the trailer, and like, you know, I was surrounded by the people who would technically be here. They're fucking normal people.
Oh yeah.
So the fact this movie has some shit in it where I'm like, I can't even give you a pass because 07, this still isn't cool for like 07.
No, not at all.
If this was 97, I'd be like, okay, the 90s were fucked up. I can even admit the 90s were incredibly fucked up. So I understand why, at least in the 90s, this shit came in, but 07.
The only thing I can think of is the kids do get their revenge. So they're not, you know, they are definitely victims, but they do get the quote unquote last laugh at the end.
And also, I guess the only way you can make a silver lining out of this is the story is positioned in a way to really label the parents and the bus driver as fucked up.
Absolutely. Without a doubt, yeah. And
because like there's no sense of I understand why they did what they did. It doesn't make sense.
No. And I don't think there was an effort to do that. They were just stating what they did and why they did it. Doesn't say if it's right or wrong. And I guess it's fine. I wouldn't even say it's fine, but the only kid who gets out alive and unharmed is the one on the spectrum that they were making fun of. Her name is Rhonda.
Yeah. Miss Rousey. So, either way, Macy gives them the story. The story is the bus driver on his normal route taking these kids home. The parents pay him to ride them off a cliff.
Basically. Yeah, he's, from what I understand, because he chained them to their seats in the bus. He's going to put the bus in drive. He's going to run out the bus, and the bus is going to go into the quarry, and it's going to go into the water, and they drown.
Yes. And it almost goes off without a hitch. He gives them candy, and the one child who's dressed as Dracula, I believe, was his costume, realizes, because that's the thing, like, I have seen it, because I've, like, in the past, but, like, there are people who are on the spectrum that are very used to the routine, and when the routine gets broken, it's very noticeable.
Yes, and it's very...
And this routine got broken.
Yes, and it's very troublesome. Very troublesome. So he freaks out.
Understandably.
Absolutely.
Because the routine is kind of like a safety. And that's why it almost goes off without a hitch. And, okay, so I have a question. Is he in the bus when it goes over?
The driver?
Because I missed that part, yeah.
So he's checking all the kids, and he's throwing a piece of candy at them each time he sees that they're locked in. Like, they followed the instructions that he probably gave them. He's at the end of the bus, and the Dracula kid goes up, gets in the driver's seat, starts freaking out, and that's when the bus driver tries to go up to the driver's seat, but one of the kids trips him on purpose.
So did they show you how he gets out of the bus? Or is it just
I'm guessing
like, okay.
since he was the only one besides the Dracula not tied down, he gets out alive.
And Dracula gets to kill him at the end. Either way, that's the end of, like, the legend. Now we're back in present time. And the kids are... See, this is probably... I will openly say this was probably the story I phased out the longest to. So, what was the purpose of the pumpkins?
So, Macy tells us that each pumpkin is an offering to the dead, to each kid that died. I think they said there's about 7 of them or whatever. So Macy, the girl with the Retainer and the boy go down the elevator first with their lanterns saying, oh, it only fits 3 safely. They go down, they send the key back up. It's Rhonda and the pirate kid who go in with their lanterns and the rest of the lanterns, so 4 in total, and they go down. And then we get down there and they're screaming and they're freaking out.
And then that's the trick.
Yeah, they scare Rhonda on purpose.
And then the kids are like, we're real. Well, false. One of them calls it off because he
The
sees.
boy, yeah.
Yeah, she's like literally losing it. Like she's freaking out. And guess what? The other 3 are like, fine, I guess. Like, if you want to be a party pooper, we'll finish it.
Yeah.
And then they hear voices and they're like, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
They start freaking out.
We should go. And then they start dying.
Yeah, like for real this time.
And Rhonda makes it to the
lift.
The lift.
Yeah, safely. And she doesn't let them in. She goes up the lift and they get eaten.
I forgot. Did the kids basically let her go?
I think so. If they didn't, she actually got away because they were satisfied with the kids that they got. Either way, she gets away from all that.
Because for some reason, the way I was remembering it, I thought they let her
I
go.
think they did because when you get...
Because they viewed her as also a victim of...
bullying.
Like them.
Exactly. And when she gets to the top, she sees Sam. Sam doesn't bother her because she has, a lit lantern, which is a protector, as she said before, because she knows all the Halloween lore and everything. That's probably like her special interest. It's adorable. So Sam lets her go.
I think Stan was just like, it's gonna make a good story. Catch you later. You did all right. I just like how Sam sits for the stories to end, and then they're like, and over. And he's like, oh, okay.
And on to the next one.
And now he's like, I'm going to go 30 feet that way to a surprise party in the forest. Lego!
Oh, and to connect the next story, the kids are waiting. The 2 kids are waiting to get down into the lift, and they hear howling. And Rhonda calls it. She says, oh, werewolves.
But false, there is an interlude.
Yes.
There's a girl in a alley. It was giving me what's the movie? I Know What You Did Last Summer. Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I see it.
In the alley towards the end.
Yeah, I see that.
When we get to that movie, I'm just going to note it. I'm going to fanboy at the shit out of her character and say that she should not have died. And it's bullshit the way they wrote her death because she should have just lived. No one stops, looks back, and then runs into the... Like, no, she just would have went.
Agreed.
But then she was probably just like, I have to do
Yeah,
Buffy,
she's like,
so
you can have me for like a couple more scenes, then I gotta go.
I'm easily your most popular character, but... Either way, there's an alley, and she's like fucking a vampire cosplayer, I guess.
Yeah, basically.
It's like, she's like, ooh, vampire guy, you're kinky. And somehow she does not process that her neck is getting torn the fuck up.
Yeah, like he's biting her all over the place, and she's like, ooh, yeah, this is something different. And then I don't know when she notices the blood, but then she does. She tries to run away, and it doesn't work.
I'm like, because like they do a pan of like showing her entire body. I'm like, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot
Yeah.
of blood. It's found its ways to your shoes and made them red. That's how soaked we are right now. Either way, we get introduced back to fucking Emma.
Oh, yeah, we do.
And Emma's like, she's just drunk.
Such an Emma.
And guess what? A few minutes later, she's like, I'm lit, you're lit, this pumpkin, it can't be lit. So shut the fuck up, Emma, you're a hypocrite.
Such an Emma.
Either way, Vampire gets her.
Yeah, and he leaves her with the other quote unquote drunk people sitting on the side of the sidewalk.
And back to
Yes,
Anna.
Anna Paquin.
We love you, Anna. Either way, she is Little Red Riding Hood, which is great foretelling to what is
I love it.
about to happen.
It went right over my head too, because I was like, "Oh, that's a cute costume. I love it. Everyone's like little fairy tales. This is great."
I also think the best part is if you listen to the way they talk to each other and how they describe her, it's very obviously a werewolf.
100.
She's the runt of the litter.
And I was like,
it's so
wow,
obviously a
okay,
werewolf.
so she's like the younger sister, and it's going right over my head.
And I was just like, she's either pretending or this is going to be a great twist because this just came after Ginger Snaps, so we got a werewolf and a werewolf. Either way, somebody, vampire douchebag comes and he's like, he does oh man.
My, what big eyes you have.
As you have. And then he's like, I'm going to bite you.
Yeah. And then we think that he kills Anna until.
Yeah, because it falls down a tree.
Yeah, with the cape.
And then they pull it back and it's just in like shake and be like, help me.
Yeah, and he's all fucked up.
And they're like, ooh.
Yeah.
She found her own.
Yeah, and we're like, wait, what?
I do like the moment where they thought it was Anna
Yeah.
Paquin as well. Like the sisters thought. I also just like to be like, what's going to be her first time? And it was like a dude in a baby costume.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Lord.
When you don't know what's going on, that's disturbing.
It is. I'm like, oh, no, that's terrible. What a mean sister.
No, she's just like, bitch, you just got to eat them. Either way, one of the werewolves are like, open your mouth. Let me pull your fucking dentures out, dude.
The fake teeth.
And she pulls it back. It's our principal from the first
Yeah, I was
story.
like, oh, wow. Okay, so he had a little side project he went and did after his son went to sleep.
And as he's moving, all I remember is a rolling hot dog costume. Just dude in
And
a
you know
hot
what's
dog
hilarious?
costume.
I didn't see a person in the hot dog costume. I think it was just the costume.
It was just a hot dog costume at this point. They were just like, listen, we didn't kill a dude. We just really liked the costume. And we just had a fun time being like, oh, you lost this dare. You have to run around in the hot dog costume for 10 minutes. But now we had our fun. Either way, Mr. Wilkins looks around. It's just a bunch of dead dudes. And you go on a conspiracy
I do
theory.
this entire time. Like for the
Just a
next
rant.
minute, I'm like, oh, is she
Vampires?
a vampire?
Coven?
Is this right before True Blood and we're getting her as a what? No, is this a coven? What's going on?
And then you got confused. Then there's like this moment where they start doing the transformations and you're confused. Because you're very sure they're probably vampires at this point. And then one of them slits the back and the skin starts to tear.
What's going on?
Well, the first things first, the spine cracks. Her Anna Paquin's spine cracks. And I was like, okay, she's probably going to have to know what this is now. Because we just watched Ginger Snaps.
Exact same
We've just
thing
seen
happened.
A transformation, and the spine's the thing that pops. That's like telltale sign. It's a werewolf. But you still weren't sure, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then the skin gets torn off, and you think it's a normal body at first. Like it's just flesh on the
exactly.
inside. And then the second time it happens, there's hair, and you're like, oh, werewolves?
Lady werewolves? I'm so excited.
I do love how they take their skin
Yes.
because it's not like delicate. It's just
Rip
like
it off. I've never seen
Rip.
that before in a werewolf transformation.
I like the idea of like werewolves being skinwalkers, not werewolves being like, you know, they transform, like it's like they're kind of like skinwalkers, like they shed the skin.
Yes, exactly. the face transformations are so good. I would love to get a little bit more of it in this movie, but I get it, we don't. They really
We're on a 12 mil
exactly,
budget.
but they did such a good job. Anna Paquin looked amazing. Everyone was looking great.
You're like, Anna Paquin looked amazing. While we were watching the movie, you're like, those teeth are not good.
Oh, yeah. When she talks to Steven, they were like kind of coming off. I was like, oh, no. But before that,
My immersion's
yeah,
broke.
before that, everything looked so good.
I have a love-hate relationship with the werewolf animatronic because I love it, but it also looks kind of goofy.
It literally looked like the exact same one from Ginger Snaps. The way the head
I don't know if that's a good
moved
thing.
looked
Yeah.
exactly the same.
You can tell they didn't have like a full body. They probably had like a
Yes,
bust.
just a bust.
But it keeps looking around and like it's like watching Anna Paquin eat him, and I'm like, this is really weird. Like this is weird.
It was it started to get less immersive and more like, okay, this is just strange.
The one thing I do like, and I know after you say like, ugh, her teeth are nasty, they do the scene where she's about to eat Wilkins and her face turns into like a partial snout, like it contorts itself. I like that.
It was so good. It was so good.
And we see them later towards the end of the movie, towards like the ending of everything, and everyone's getting their farewells and they're in a car
they're all
together.
having a good time.
And that was the moment I realized the Red Riding Hood dress was really revealing. Because for a moment I was like, is Anna Paquin not wearing clothes? And then I saw the red and I'm like, oh no, she was right. She was going to pop out of that. Shit.
Also, side note, I really want to know Anna Paquin's opinion on doing a horror movie like this. I want to know if she had a good time, if she, enjoys this being on her resume. I want more info.
I feel like it's with people you already know, so it's kind of like it's kind of like easy to go on to a set when you know your people. But I also think, before True Blood, she was in a. It's great being a superhero, but if you didn't really have a major career before being a superhero, you kind of just get typecasted.
She did, though. When she was younger, she won her Academy Award as a kid. So she had a great career as a young person, and then she did the X-Men. She had a little bit of trouble there. She did this, and then she went on to do True Blood, and then she's been racking it up since then.
Yeah. I would say, this kind of being the midpoint between, because you have to remember, Last Stand was 06. Right. So this was literally the year between X-Men and True Blood. I think, and also she wasn't major part of the movie. I feel like, she was probably just like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do it.
That's true.
It's based off like a 90s animated thing they made. Either way, the next one. Oh, by the way, while they're eating, all the dudes, Sam is just sitting on a log watching all this happen. He's just like, yay, chaos. It rains.
And you know what's really interesting? This and the trick-or-treaters that went to Steven's house didn't interact with Sam, didn't notice him at all. I have a feeling that not everyone can see him.
Oh, right, because when they go to Wilkins' house...
Oh,
or when they go... When they go to the house, Sam is there. Because he takes candy.
Exactly. Like, the kids leave, and he was part of the trick-or-treater group, which he wasn't. So I think the ones that either follow the rules or are in on the joke, which would be the werewolves, don't need or see Sam at all.
Okay, so let's see who died in this
Emma
bit,
which was a rule breaker. The kids were a rule breaker.
Rule breakers. Yeah. Wilkins was technically a rule breaker because he killed. He used Halloween to kill.
And the candy was poisoned, which is sacrilegious, basically.
Exactly.
And the bus driver, which he didn't die by Sam because he ended up somehow giving candy
him
to Sam
candy.
at the end. We'll get to that. But
Yep.
his past came to haunt him.
So I think it's just if you really break the rules.
Yes. If you're the rule breaker.
Maliciously.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to break the rules maliciously. Yeah. Either way, Sam's like chaos. But now it's time for my story, titled Sam. Either way, Craig, our true Halloween
Oh,
Grinch.
yeah. The true Emma.
He has the dog and all. He dresses his dog in like night vision goggles to be like, scare the children. And the children run. And then Sam's like, you're my target because you scared the children. They came for candy. We basically go back to the first story, I guess, technically.
Yeah,
if the
I
cold
would say
open
so.
isn't the first story. We have him doing his things. He goes, talks to Wilkins, all the stuff that Wilkins was seeing from
His point of view.
Yeah, is now making sense. Like why he was screaming out the window. He was like, I'm getting attacked by a pumpkin thing. Can you help? Maybe. Either way, how does Sam gets in the house through
The doggy
the
door.
door. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he put all of these jack-o'-lanterns on Creed's doorstep. They're all over the place. Which I wonder if he took them from Rhonda's house.
We're not
Yeah,
shocked,
me
man.
neither.
Either way, he thinks he hears something, goes out. We get the interaction before with him and Wilkins through the fence. We come back in. And we go around the house, and we eventually make it to like a bedroom.
He definitely killed the dog, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. But we get a jack-o'-lantern on fire.
We do. Very, very much on fire.
And then all over the walls, trick or treat.
Yeah, trick or treat, give me something good to eat. That's what it says.
Yep. And then he gets, I forgot if this is one of your things that grosses you out, but getting the bottom of your foot slashed.
Yeah, it's not a favorite of mine, that's for sure. I didn't even notice it,
It gets
though.
slashed.
It looked like he punctured his leg. Like he gave him like a needle or something. And then we see it and it's definitely slashed. I'm like, ew, gross.
Nasty. I just remember this one so well because I look over to you in the camera and you're like in a blanket.
Yeah, I was into the movie.
You were just like, I was like, is her feet up on the chair? Because like she seems very curled right now. Either way, we get a great scene of Sam kind of crawling out from underneath the bed. I love the human hands with like the fingerless gloves. And I love that. Well, false. The trick was it was a fake hand originally.
Correct.
Like it was like an animatronic hand, and now we're gonna get a real hand eventually. All right, So this is where I go like something. It's on the wall. He's like crawling on the wall on top.
Oh,
of him.
yeah. Krieg falls down the stairs basically because he trips on all of the candy that's on the stairs. He tries to get out of the door because he has all these locks, and Sam is crawling on the ceiling and then jumps down onto him.
And we get
a fight, a struggle.
We do, and it's just a kid.
Yeah.
It's like just kid stock audio.
Yeah.
All I remember is he gets shot with a shotgun.
Yeah, to the head, and then to the chest,
Yep.
and then to the arm.
But also when Sam's for the entire movie, Sam's had a burlap sack, and it's adorable.
love
It's an
it.
adorable burlap sack.
I love it.
And they even made his like, and it comes off, and he's basically like a skeleton pumpkin,
It looks so
Thing.
good.
and it's still kind of
It
adorable
is.
when you see his
Yes.
eyes. They kept the very childlike wonder of Sam. I do wonder what Sam is though, like how Sam became
I feel like he's
what
just
Sam is.
Halloween, or the spirit of Halloween. Yeah,
Halloween.
because he is the one that, makes sure everyone's following the rules.
Maybe that's why he doesn't really appear to kids, because he's like, kids are
Pretty
innocent.
much.
They love the Hollows.
And they follow the rules.
Either way, they keep fighting. and they fight, and there's like backflips and like spin kicks and like, you know, there's like 5 different explosions. It's crazy. You have to just watch it. And then Sam's like, I got a lollipop. I'm going to stab you. Oh, candy.
Yeah, the candy is on his stomach. He stabs it, and he's like, oh, okay, I got my treat. Bye.
I guess you gave me candy by
yeah,
proxy.
we're fine. We're good. I got what I wanted.
And he leaves. And Craig is like, I'm gonna like tie my arm up in a sling.
Yeah.
And this is where we learn that he's the bus driver.
Yeah, he was
from
running
the
pictures.
school bus.
Mm-hmm. When kids come around to his house after this, he is following the rules. He's giving candy to kids. And so he lives for the time being until he gets some last-minute visitors.
My favorite part, though, is every time he's coming out, Sam is just kind of sitting near like the giant tree, just like, bitch, I'm waiting.
Just wait. I'll
fuck
you up, man.
Fuck up once. I fucked everyone else up tonight. You're the last one. I'm sitting here. And then he's like, oh, wait.
Emma.
You guys got him?
And Emma. He sees Emma.
Fantastic. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to deal with her because I have a sneaking suspicion karma's about to come for your ass. Gets knocked on the door, opens up, and it's our moldy,
swampy,
wet children.
They look
so
good.
gross. They do.
So good.
They look great. And then Dracula says trick or treat, right?
And we get a comic book of them eating the bus driver.
Now, there's 2 ways you can look at this. Like, it's really cool that this was the stylistic thing they chose to do. By the way, right before this happens, all the characters converge at the end on this one street. Like, you kind of see all the main characters. You see he comes out. Wilkins' kid is given away cyanide candy, I guess, still.
Exactly. Rhonda's coming home, who almost gets hit by the werewolf girls.
Yep. The werewolf girls are partying.
They're having such a good time.
The only thing they were missing was a sunroof at this point. And then, you know, he sees Emma and he's like, she's lit, he's lit, and that jack-o'-lantern is staying lit. On my way. Craig opens the doors, and then we get the comic book thing. Now, there's like 2 ways you can like kind of go about that. Is, oh, that's lazy that they didn't actually do a scene where the kids were ripping him apart. Or you could be like, oh, that's a really cool way to end the movie because it ends it in like this kind of like the way it started it, because it started as a comic book type of intro. So you end it in a comic book type of intro. I'm of the latter. I kind of like the comic book ending.
It's fine with me. It was a very interesting choice as to why they went with a comic book. I don't know. I think I would have rathered it be more, you know, this is a urban legend that needs to be followed, which is what they did in the beginning with the old footage. Like, these are the rules for Halloween, better follow them. But then they went off into a comic book. I feel like they couldn't make up their mind.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not bad.
This one's definitely up to opinion.
I agree.
More than that. I can see if maybe some person's like, oh, this ruined the ending because like it was on such a high and
it was sprinkled in,
you know, the way they brought everything together. Yeah, and like the way they brought everything together was really good.
Yeah, I agree.
And now you understand what I said like towards the beginning, where I mentioned like how all the other movies I mentioned, they had their core set of characters, and then do a story, then back to the core set, then back to a story, then back to a core set. This one was just like story, 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 but these are all happening together. And it's not happening in order, which is nice.
I do like that too. But yeah, that was pretty much it, right? That was the movie?
That was the movie. I would say, you know, even though I wasn't paying like perfect attention to it, it went quick.
It did.
But I think it's easier to do a movie like this because you, like, with other movies, you have to write 3 acts in the sense of it's one story, 1, 2, 3. This, you get like episodes, so it's easy to make each episode feel filled with content.
That's very true. Yeah.
Because you only have like 20 minutes to tell it. You know what this means?
What's that?
You know what it's time
What?
for? It's time for going back to episode 1 where I have an excerpt to Paige. It's time for the movie roundup.
Okay, let's go. Okay, it is the movie roundup. Safe to say, I liked this movie. I kind of wish I've seen it when it came out, maybe, but it was nice to see it now, eventually. Nothing really special about the cinematography. I think where it really shined was probably the werewolf scene. That was probably the highlight of the movie for me, with the transformation and all that good stuff. Yeah, nothing film-wise was great, but I think the stories and the way they were told were really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Not much else to say. I'd probably give this 7.5.
We're close. We're
Maybe
close
an
to each
8.
other.
Probably a 7.5.
Then we'd be dead on. We'd be dead on.
I think a 7.5.
I remember the first time I saw this movie.
Oh, yeah? Oh, great. Now I have an
Yeah.
airplane. If you guys can hear it, I apologize. Go ahead.
Don't worry. That's like a page. You know.
Always near an airport.
I was gonna say that's your essence.
Even since I moved,
airplane.
I'm still near an airport.
I miss editing our episodes and not hearing a zoo happening behind you. So I remember when I first saw this movie, I went to, this is going to date me real hard, a Blockbuster.
Nice.
And the movie was there.
I always saw it at Blockbuster. I loved the poster. I just never got it.
It's a great poster. It really does sell you. Because you're like, oh, it's adorable. I think as a kid, I didn't really understand it. My family didn't like it because they were like, it doesn't make sense because it doesn't hold my hand the entire way.
Got you.
Yeah, I come from that family. To the point where, like, when I started to understand movies, at the end of every movie, they'd be like, I don't get it. Can you explain it to me? And I'm like, oh my God.
I hate it.
But the worst is when they do it during the middle
Oh,
of the
God.
movie.
Let's not even go there. But go ahead.
Oof. It's a good, fun movie. It is... I think the one thing... It's so easy to forget about this movie. It was straight to DVD.
Right, which is insane to me.
Because this is theater quality.
Absolutely.
Listen, I remember straight to DVD, straight to like home. Those aren't good movies. Now, his last movie was straight to home, and it sucked, which was Urban Legends Bloody Mary. That movie was straight up booty cheeks.
Never seen it, and
I'll
never will.
acknowledge it. That's what you say until we do the Urban Legends trilogy.
Yeah, okay.
However, it is a good movie. The cinematography works.
Yeah.
The 12 mil budget, they got pretty far with it, which is also a shock why I went straight to home on a 12 mil.
Mm-hmm.
It's odd. The practicals were really good. The creativity was really good. I'd give it an 8 as well. I just think, it's like, oh, well, the camera work is fine. It's like, yeah, but how many movies have we watched where the camera work really has not been fine and we don't really bring it up because it's like, well, the rest of the movie fucking sucks too. So why would we bring up the camera work?
Exactly. Yeah. This isn't one of those movies to me where you need the production to be at such a high level when the story is kind of doing it for itself.
And also, I feel like this is just an easy movie to have as like a Halloween tradition, like watching it every year. This is an easy movie to get through.
Absolutely. This is a great one to either have in the background or you have your friends over, you're doing a movie marathon. This is a great one to put in that list.
This is a great when everybody's got their food. Outside of the first story, listen, I get it, but outside of the first story, it's a great time just to watch.
Oh, yeah.
It's very Goosebumps for adults.
Oh, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah, I like that. Yes.
I can have a few good ideas every now and then. See? The era of tasteless is over.
Ah, there we go.
what are the rest of the movies for the year? Just so I can make sure that is a true statement.
But yeah, it was a really good movie. I'm so glad we watched it.
And now, we started this year with trash. Looking at you, Hellraiser, where
Let's not.
I did. Listen, I was going to note it now. If anybody wants to know how bad Hellraiser fucked us up, we went on a 3-month hiatus following Hellraiser.
We were just like, I can't do it.
It was 3 months to the day of the next episode release. That's how long we left at the Hellraiser. And I remember we talked about coming back a few times. We were like, I can't, because that movie took everything out of me.
It was so bad, dude.
And the thing was, ever since then, it's been a great time.
Yeah.
It's like, since I'd say maybe May, June the latest, it's been a really easy year for content.
Yeah, and then what we'll be doing next is The Thing, another classic movie I haven't seen, so I'm really excited to watch that.
That movie, I won't be tasteless. That's the best thing. That's a movie I can't be tasteless to. I will acknowledge, though, for future Paige, it's like a 2-hour movie. So
Strap in.
It's a great movie, but you be prepared. The recording's gonna be an hour longer that night, probably.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Happy Halloween. This is our Halloween episode, so hope you guys stay safe. Is it coming out before Halloween?
Either next weekend or the weekend after, so yeah. But however, I'm not here the week of Halloween.
So when this comes out, either have a safe Halloween. I hope you had a good Halloween. And we will hopefully see you next time. We are on Spotify. We are on YouTube, Movie to Haunt. Please come say hi, and we'll see you next time. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Five innocent people killed, not a sign of a human